I'm Dalio, and today I'm going to reveal a secret that most people misunderstand. I made my fortune by working less, not more. I know it sounds counterintuitive. Society always tells us we need to work harder, longer hours, more projects, more stress. But in my 50-year career, I discovered this is completely wrong. After my 40s, I cut my working hours in half, and my wealth increased tenfold. How? Because I completely changed how I worked. I stopped working hard and started working smart. And today, I'm going to show you how to make this transition. Especially if you're over 50, this is your biggest advantage. Because young workers can only sell time and energy. You can sell experience, wisdom, and network. And these are far more valuable. When I founded Bridgewater, I worked 16 hours a day. I controlled every detail myself. I made every decision myself, and I was burning out. But when I reached my 50s, I realized something. My most successful hours weren't the hours I worked the most. They were the hours I thought most strategically. This realization changed everything. Because after 50, your biggest advantage is this: you know what matters. When I was 25, I thought everything was important. Responding to every email, attending every meeting, evaluating every opportunity. But at 55, I learned that only 20% of things create 80% of results. This Pareto principle isn't just theory, it's life reality. And after 50, your ability to apply this is at its peak. Your second major advantage is your delegation ability. Young workers feel they have to do everything themselves because nobody trusts them, nobody values their judgment. But with your 25 to 30 years of experience, you know which tasks to give to whom. And most importantly, people trust you. When a young worker asks, "Can I delegate this task?" the answer is usually no. When you ask the same question, the answer is usually yes. This trust buys time, and time means money. Your third advantage is the power of your network. At 50, your professional network is at its peak. 25 to 30 years of business relationships. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people know you, trust you. This network makes your job easier. One phone call can produce results that would take young people months to achieve. One email can bring major deals. One lunch can create new partnerships. Using this network power is far more effective than working hard. Your fourth advantage is your decision-making speed. Experience strengthens intuition. When I was 25, I would analyze for weeks to make a decision. I'd examine numbers, compare alternatives, talk to experts. Now, with 30 years of experience, I can make the same decision in 30 minutes, and I have a 90% accuracy rate. This speed provides tremendous competitive advantage. Markets change rapidly, opportunities close quickly. Being able to make quick decisions means big money. Your fifth advantage is your risk assessment ability. Young investors either take excessive risks or no risks at all. They can't take balanced risks because they don't know what's risky and what's safe. At 50, you've experienced every type of risk. .com bubble, 2008 crisis, COVID impact. These experiences have developed your risk antennas. Your sixth advantage, and this is crucial, is emotional intelligence. By 50, you've learned to read people, situations, and markets in ways that young professionals simply cannot. You can sense when a business partner is being dishonest. You can feel when a market is getting too heated. You can tell when an employee is struggling before they even admit it. This emotional radar is incredibly valuable and cannot be taught in business school. It comes only from decades of human interaction. Your seventh advantage is reputation and credibility. When you're 50, your track record speaks for itself. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. People already know your capabilities. This opens doors that are permanently closed to younger professionals. Investors trust your judgment. Partners seek your involvement. Clients pay premium rates for your expertise. This credibility translates directly into higher income with less effort. Now let me share the specific strategies I use to work less while earning more. Strategy 1. The focus filter. Every morning, I write down 3 things that would move the needle most that day. Not 10 things, not 20. 3. If I accomplish these 3, the day is successful regardless of what else happens. Everything else is secondary. This simple filter eliminated 70% of my daily activities and doubled my results. Young professionals try to do everything. Experienced professionals do only what matters. Strategy 2, the delegation multiplier. I identified tasks that only I could do versus tasks that others could do 80% as well. Anything in the second category got delegated immediately. Here's the key insight. You don't need 100% perfection on every task. 80% execution on 10 tasks beats 100% execution on 3 tasks. Your team doesn't need to be as good as you at everything. They need to be good enough while you focus on the 20% that truly requires your expertise. Strategy 3, the network leverage system. Instead of chasing new business constantly, I let my network bring opportunities to me. I invested time in maintaining relationships rather than always building new ones. One lunch with an old client generates more business than 10 cold calls to prospects. One recommendation from a trusted partner is worth more than months of marketing. Your network becomes your sales force, and they work for free. Strategy 4, the premium positioning approach. At 50, you shouldn't compete on price. You should compete on value and expertise. I stopped taking projects that required me to justify my rates. Instead, I focused on clients who understood that experience costs more but delivers better results. When you position yourself as the expert, not the cheapest option, clients pay for your judgment, not your time. And judgment is scalable in ways that time never will be. Strategy 5, the system creation method. I documented every process, every decision framework, every lesson learned. This allowed me to replicate my thinking without being personally involved in every decision. Systems work 24/7 without getting tired, without needing vacations, without asking for raises. Building systems is the ultimate leverage because they multiply your effectiveness indefinitely. Strategy 6, the teaching income stream. I started charging for my knowledge through consulting, speaking, and advising. Teaching others what I'd learned generated significant income with minimal time investment. One day of consulting could equal weeks of traditional work income. The beauty of knowledge work is that sharing knowledge doesn't diminish it. Unlike physical products, intellectual property can be sold infinite times without reducing its value. Here's what most people get wrong about working less. They think it means being lazy or putting in minimal effort. That's not what I mean at all. I mean being ruthlessly selective about where you invest your energy. Working less on low-impact activities so you can work intensely on high-impact opportunities. When I was young, I worked hard on everything. Now I work intensely on the few things that create disproportionate results. The difference is strategic focus versus scattered effort. Let me give you concrete examples of how this played out in my career. Early career example. In my 30s, I personally analyzed every investment opportunity. I read every annual report. I attended every company meeting. I made every investment decision personally. This took enormous time and limited our fund's capacity. My hours were maxed out, but our growth was constrained by my personal bandwidth. Later, career example. In my 50s, I developed investment principles and hired brilliant analysts to execute them. I focused on refining the decision-making framework while others handled the detailed analysis. Result? We could evaluate 10 times more opportunities with higher quality decisions, and I worked half the hours. The transformation wasn't just about delegation, it was about leverage. Physical work has linear returns. If you work twice as many hours, you get twice the output, maybe. Intellectual and strategic work has exponential returns. The right insight, properly systematized, can generate value far beyond the time invested in creating it. Here's another crucial insight for the over 50 crowd. Your energy becomes more precious but also more focused. In your 20s and 30s, you have abundant physical energy but scattered mental focus. In your 50s, you have limited physical energy but laser mental focus. Use this to your advantage. Work fewer hours but make each hour count exponentially more. I developed what I call the energy allocation framework: high-energy activities, strategic thinking, key decisions, important relationships, creative problem-solving. I do these during my peak energy hours, typically morning. Medium energy activities, team meetings, routine decisions, administrative tasks. I schedule these during my moderate energy periods, low energy activities, email, research review, casual networking. These get done during my low energy times or get delegated entirely. This framework alone increased my productivity by 300 while reducing my working hours by 40%. The compound effect of working smarter instead of harder becomes exponential over time. A young professional might outwork you on any given day, but over a year, your strategic approach will vastly outperform their brute force method. Over a decade, there's no comparison. Now, let me address the psychological barriers that prevent people from making this transition. Barrier 1, the guilt factor. We've been conditioned to equate hours worked with value created. This is industrial age thinking in an information age world. In manufacturing, more hours equals more widgets. In knowledge work, more hours often equals diminishing returns and creative exhaustion. You need to mentally separate effort from results. Sometimes the most valuable thing you can do is think deeply for an hour instead of being busy for 8 hours. Barrier 2, the control addiction. Many successful people become addicted to controlling every detail. This addiction grows from early career necessity but becomes a later career limitation. Learning to let go isn't just about delegation. It's about recognizing that your highest value isn't in doing everything perfectly, but in ensuring the right things get done well. Perfect execution on the wrong priorities is worthless. Good execution on the right priorities is invaluable. Barrier 3, the identity crisis. If you've defined yourself by how hard you work, working less can feel like losing part of your identity. But your identity should evolve from hardest worker to most effective leader to wisest advisor. Each transition increases your value while decreasing your required effort. Barrier 4, the fear of irrelevance. Some people fear that working less means becoming less important or valuable. The opposite is true. When you focus on high-impact activities only, your importance increases. When everyone comes to you for the decisions that really matter, you become more central to success, not less. The key is understanding the foodie difference between being busy and being essential. Busy people are replaceable. Essential people are invaluable. Here's my specific action plan for making this transition if you're over 50. Week 1, audit your time. Track everything you do for 1 week. Categorize activities as high impact, medium impact, or low impact based on their contribution to your key goals. Most people are shocked to discover they spend 60–70% of their time on low-impact activities. Week 2, eliminate ruthlessly. Cancel recurring meetings that don't drive decisions. Stop reading reports that don't influence your actions. Unsubscribe from information sources that create noise without signal. Delete low-impact activities from your calendar permanently. You'll be amazed how much time this frees up. Week 3, delegate systematically. List every task you currently do personally. For each task, ask, does this require my unique expertise, or could someone else do this 80% as well? Delegate everything in the second category. Train people properly, set clear expectations, but let go of perfectionist control. Week 4, implement the focus filter. Choose your 3 highest impact activities for the coming month. Decline everything else, no matter how interesting or urgent it seems. This is the hardest part because it means saying no to opportunities, but every yes to something unimportant is a no to something crucial. Month 2, build systems. Document your decision-making processes. Create templates for recurring situations. Build checklists for complex tasks. The goal is to capture your expertise in reproducible systems that others can execute. This multiplies your effectiveness without multiplying your time investment. Month 3, monetize your network. Reach out to your professional network not to ask for favors, but to explore collaboration opportunities, joint ventures, strategic partnerships, advisory positions. Your network is your greatest asset, but only if you actively leverage it. Most people have valuable networks they never utilize financially. Month 4, position for premium pricing. Stop competing on price and start competing on unique value. Identify what you can deliver that nobody else can. Maybe it's industry expertise, maybe it's relationship access, maybe it's risk assessment ability. Whatever it is, charge appropriately for that unique value. Clients who argue about your rates don't understand your value. Find clients who do. Here's what happens when you successfully make this transition. Your income often increases even as your hours decrease. Your stress levels drop dramatically because you're no longer pulled in multiple directions. Your decision quality improves because you have more time to think strategically. Your relationships deepen because you're more present in important interactions. Your expertise compounds because you're focusing on your core strengths instead of spreading thin across multiple areas. But here's the most important benefit. You become future-proof. Jobs that require pure time and energy can be automated or outsourced to younger, cheaper workers. Jobs that require wisdom, judgment, and relationships cannot be replaced by machines or inexperienced workers. By working less but focusing more, you position yourself in the irreplaceable category. Let me share one final insight that took me decades to understand. The goal isn't to work as little as possible. The goal is to work on the most important things possible. There's a huge difference. Lazy people avoid work altogether. Strategic people avoid unimportant work to focus intensely on crucial work. The result is higher impact, higher income, and higher satisfaction. At 50 plus, you have earned the right to be selective. You have proven your capabilities. You have built your expertise. You have established your network. Now it's time to leverage these assets strategically instead of just working harder. The young workers can have the long hours and the busy schedules. You take the important decisions, the key relationships, and the strategic opportunities. Quality over quantity, impact over activity, results over effort. This isn't just a different way of working. It's a completely different philosophy of value creation, and it's only available to people who have paid their dues, built their capabilities, and earned the right to be selective about how they spend their professional energy. If you're over 50 and still trying to outwork people half your age, you're playing the wrong game. Start playing the game where experience, wisdom, and relationships matter more than energy and hours. That's a game you're designed to win. Here are the specific metrics that will tell you whether you're succeeding at this transition. Metric 1. Income per hour worked. Track this monthly. If you're working smarter, this number should increase consistently even as your total hours decrease. If it's not improving, you're still trapped in the time for money paradigm. Metric 2. Decision impact ratio. Measure how many decisions you make that actually move your business or career forward versus administrative or routine decisions. High-impact professionals spend 60–80% of their decision-making time on choices that create lasting value. Metric 3. Delegation success rate. Track how often delegated tasks are completed to your satisfaction without your intervention. If you're constantly having to fix or redo delegated work, you either chose the wrong people or didn't provide adequate training and systems. Metric 4. Network activation frequency. How often does your professional network bring you opportunities versus you having to chase opportunities actively? A strong network should generate 50–70% of your business opportunities with minimal effort from you. Metric 5. Energy levels at day's end. If you're working smarter, you should feel mentally stimulated but not physically exhausted at the end of most workdays. Chronic fatigue is a sign you're still working harder, not smarter. Now let me address the most common objections I hear about this approach. Objection 1. My industry requires long hours. This is usually an excuse, not a reality. Every industry has some professionals who work extremely long hours and others who achieve similar or better results with strategic focus. Study the second group. What are they doing differently? The answer is usually better systems, stronger relationships, and clearer priorities. Objection 2. I can't trust others to do things as well as I do them. This perfectionist trap keeps many capable people stuck in tactical work instead of strategic leadership. The question isn't whether others can do it as well as you. The question is whether they can do it well enough while you focus on things only you can do. 80% execution by others beats 100% execution by you if it frees you for higher impact activities. Objection 3. I don't have the luxury of choosing my work. This is rarely true for experienced professionals. You always have choices, even if they're not easy choices. You can choose your clients, your projects, your employer, or your business model. The real issue is usually fear of making difficult transitions or having uncomfortable conversations about priorities and boundaries. Objection 4. This approach is selfish or irresponsible. Actually, the opposite is true. When you focus on your highest value contributions, you create more value for everyone. Your company benefits from your strategic thinking. Your clients benefit from your expertise. Your team benefits from your mentorship and clear direction. Working on low-impact activities isn't noble, it's wasteful. Here's my challenge to everyone over 50 watching this. For the next 30 days, implement just one element of this approach. Choose the focus filter, the delegation multiplier, or the energy allocation framework. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick one strategy and execute it consistently for 1 month. Measure the results. I guarantee you'll see improvements in both your effectiveness and your work satisfaction. Then add another strategy the following month. This isn't about becoming lazy or entitled. It's about recognizing that your value has evolved beyond pure effort. Your decades of experience have created capabilities that can't be replicated by working harder. They can only be leveraged by working smarter. The tragic mistake I see many accomplished people make is continuing to compete on effort when they should be competing on expertise. Continuing to sell time when they should be selling insight. Continuing to do everything when they should be choosing everything. If you're over 50 and you're working more hours now than you did at 40, you're moving in the wrong direction. Your career should be getting more strategic, more selective, and more leveraged over time, not more demanding and more scattered. The professionals who understand this principle build wealth, maintain health, and create lasting impact well into their 60s and 70s. Those who don't often burn out, become obsolete, or find themselves struggling to keep up with younger competitors. The choice is yours. But choose consciously. Your 20s and 30s are for building capabilities. Your 40s are for proving those capabilities. Your 50s and beyond are for leveraging those capabilities strategically. Each phase requires different approaches. Don't try to succeed in your 50s using strategies that worked in your 30s. The game has changed. The rules have evolved. Your advantages have shifted. Play to your current strengths, not your historical ones. Work smarter, not harder. Focus on impact, not activity. Leverage experience, not just effort. That's how you make your fortune working less, not more.